Hello, welcome RGB Worlds. This is Orpheus, your guide to the underworld, and we are here doing something a little bit different today. Capcom has asked us to co-stream with them the Resident Evil Village Showcase. This is the next mainline game in Resident Evil series. It could also be known as Resident Evil 8. Today we will be presenting Capcom's showcase. For the first 30 minutes, we will be discussing all things Resident Evil. So if you are out there, go ahead and drop a like and a comment to let us know you're there. And we can geek out together about Resident Evil, okay? So I'm very excited about this. Let's go ahead and take a look at this title card right there. Who could that be, I wonder? Resident Evil Village. A lot of mystery at this point, that's for sure. Hey Mariel, thanks for liking the stream. I'm very excited to see you here. Okay, so the thing to know about the Resident Evil Showcase, this has been presented by Capcom, and we are going to help them talk about Resident Evil Village here on RGB Worlds, right? So I do have some talking points, but before I get to that, let's talk about the stream giveaway rules. I've posted them on the on the stream right there, but I'll go ahead and read them to you. All right, so Capcom has given us some special in-game avatar codes, and for those of you that have a PS4 or a brand new PS5, I'm jealous by the way, you can avail of these avatar codes. We're going to give away 8 today. So if you have a PS4 or a PS5, be the first of 8 to direct message your PSN ID to us on Facebook, YouTube, or Switch. That way we can verify you have a PS4 or PS5 to use your avatar code with. It goes to the right people, right? And then go ahead and comment, like, and share this stream. The first 8 people that do that will get this special avatar code straight from Capcom that gave it to me to give that to you, okay? Very excited about that. Okay then, so we do have the timer set up. It looks kind of Hunger Games-y, but it is actually the logo that Capcom has for Resident Evil 8 Village. Gotta talk about some things here. For those of you that are new to the Resident Evil series, it is a biopunk game series. It is all about survival horror and action horror. And with the return to form of Resident Evil 7, we are experiencing scares and terrifying kind of content that we haven't seen the likes of in a very long time. So for the case of Resident Evil 8, it is a follow-up to Resident Evil 7. The new protagonist in Resident Evil 7 is Ethan Winters. He survived a lot, and we'll talk about that in a bit. Just as a bit of an overview for Resident Evil 8 though. It's set a few years after the horrifying events in the critically acclaimed Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. It's an all-new storyline that begins with Ethan Winters and his wife Mia living peacefully in a new location, free from the past nightmares. But just as they are building their new life together, tragedy befalls them once again. And Chris Redfield, the legendary hero from the Resident Evil series, is reacquainted with the couple and horribly disrupts their life, spiraling Ethan into chaos. A devastated Ethan finds himself in a remote snow-capped village seeking answers after being thrown into an entirely new nightmare. So it looks like the terrifying nightmares are following Ethan even to this new place he's trying to build a new life in. It's interesting that they're bringing back Chris Redfield, a veteran of the series and a favorite. He has been there since Resident Evil 1. And he made a comeback in the DLC of Resident Evil 7. So as a neat little epilogue there, he came off of a helicopter with the umbrella logo on the side. So what could that possibly mean? What is Chris up to? Especially here in Resident Evil 8. So we're going to find out this year when Resident Evil 8 releases later this spring. So I'm very excited about that. If any of you guys out there have played Resident Evil 7, let me know, or any Resident Evils at all, please go ahead and drop a comment. I'd like to talk to you about that because in my personal history, I've played all the third-person Resident Evil games, starting with 4, so 4, 5, 6, and the Revelations games, and they're a lot of fun. There are some co-op games in there, but they all lead up to different stories and all sorts of chaos that you don't expect from this one corporation that keeps coming back. Oh my god, say it seems like Umbrella is tied into all this even after their formal dissolution, but we'll see. For me, I have yet to play Resident Evil 1 and 0. I enjoyed Resident Evil 3 and 2 remake a lot last year, but I need to get into 1 and 0 because it's a lot somehow it's a lot scarier for me than playing a third-person game. Hey Barbie, hey, I remember you. Thanks for coming back. Yeah, thanks for helping me out in RE2 remake, finding that extra gem for the Clock Tower Memorial. I really appreciate that. So you played Resident Evil 3 Classic. What did you think? Was it harder or easier than RE3 remake? With RE3 remake and RE2 remake, they have done something special. They reimagined everything into, how do I say this? Modern graphics. Very, very scary stuff. What I gotta say about that? Mario is asking, do you think Ethan is infected? Ethan, the protagonist of RE7 and possibly the protagonist of RE8. Do I think he's infected, like the Louisiana family he stayed with? I think so. Well, I have yet to play RE7, and I will play RE7 if you guys if you guys show that there's a demand to watch me play it. I will go through it, even though it's real scary. I will go through it. My understanding is Ethan at one point gets a really severe injury, as in like his arm falls off, but he staples it back on. And how the heck does that happen? How does that work? How do you recover from something like that? Well, I think he's infected. I don't know. But how that ties into this next game, I wonder about that too. Is he gonna be a little bit more, a little bit more able than the regular human to survive all the nightmares of the village? We'll find out. Alright, so Resident Evil 8 is the evolution of survival horror's defining franchise. Here, horror meets action as you fight to unravel the mystery behind Chris Redfield's betrayal in this fast-paced single-player campaign. So, about that, for you guys who have seen some trailers of Resident Evil 8 already, you may have seen Chris Redfield doing something kind of crazy. We usually think he's a very stand-up guy, but in one of the trailers that Capcom has released so far, it looks like he murders Ethan's wife, Mia. Now, how can that be? That's totally out of left field. Chris Redfield's always been a good guy. But then again, he did come off of an Umbrella helicopter in the Resident Evil 7 DLC, so what's gonna happen? I wonder. We'll have to find out. Hey, Yvette, thanks for liking RGB Worlds. I appreciate that you're here. Thanks for liking the stream. If any of you guys have any favorite memories of Resident Evil, go ahead and drop that in the comments, because, let's see, I'm about to talk about one. My first Resident Evil ever was RE4, and I played it all by myself. And the very first jump scare I ever had in RE, there was this zombie that jumped out of a oven. A burning zombie. What can I say? You don't get prepared for something like that. And in Resident Evil 8, it looks like there's all sorts of enemies that we've never seen before. I'm thinking something more supernatural than your run-of-the-mill zombie. Not that they're that basic, but you know, there's something else happening in this village. And I'm thinking the enemies will be faster and stronger than anything we've seen before. Alright, so with Resident Evil 8, we are bringing up a new standard for graphics. We enter the photorealistic world of Village, where market-leading graphics enhance your action horror experience at every turn. The RE engine, paired with new technological power of the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, will deliver hyper-detailed graphics, bringing the shadowy village and its haunting residents to life. Yes, the RE engine is photorealistic. What can I say? We saw its power in RE7, and then even more in RE2 and RE3, and well, let's just say you're gonna have to really convince me if you want to see me play RE7 in VR. Mario's favorite memory of Resident Evil: staying in the save room in RE3 Nemesis Classic, because Nemesis was just outside and she was trapped. There's that kind of dread that you feel when you know that something bad is like right there and then you have to face it. I wonder, Mario, did he ever go away, or did you just have to run past him and try to make your way past him? Nemesis is a big bad bioweapon. For those of you who haven't played Resident Evil in a while, know that there's more than just human zombies out there. There are all sorts of, how do I say, there are tyrants and animal bioweapons. They'll keep you on your toes. Not all the enemies are just shuffle around, do the thriller dance. No, everyone's after you, and some of them are quicker than your average zombie. All right, so and to frighten you even more, we're using some next generation technology in RE8. You unleash the power of PC and next gen consoles, latest technology, combining ray tracing and audio advancements to create an immersive horror experience. So ray tracing, for those of you who haven't built a PC yet or haven't looked into that, ray tracing is a technology where light rays from all sources reflect and refract and do all sorts of things that light normally does on surfaces. What this means is that there's no like shadows that were pre-calculated. It means it's a very immersive experience. You could try looking at a puddle in the water and it will reflect everything in the environment around it. It is very immersive, and ray tracing is something that we need the very latest specs to pull off, and I'm very excited that RE8 is going to have that in this game. Mariel says maybe Ethan will be the next big bioweapon. Was probably infected but able to fight off Evelyn. Yeah, Evelyn is something else in RE7. She is more than I don't know. There are things that you think are possible in biopunk genre, but with RE Revelations we had an enemy that could teleport, and in RE7 we had Evelyn, who seemed to have power over everything. Now you could call it hallucinogens, and I guess that's a biological explanation for it, but just know what that means is there's no limits on what the enemies can do now, is what it seems like. So familiar faces and new foes in RE8. Chris Redfield has typically been a hero in the Resident Evil series, but his appearance in ResidentEvil seemingly shrouds him in sinister motives. A host of new adversaries inhabiting the enigmatic village will relentlessly hunt Ethan and hinder his every move as he attempts to make sense of the new nightmare he finds himself in. So, what do you got to say about that? It seems like Ethan is all alone. It doesn't sound like Chris is on his side. You'd think that there would be one other person helping you out, face all these bioweapons or these people that don't seem all too friendly about you joining their village. But talk about being alone. And survival horror, you never feel as scared as when you are alone and defenseless. That's all I gotta say. Nice thing about Resident Evil that I like is usually by the end of the game, you've picked up some skills and you're able to not be so helpless as you were at the beginning. I'm hoping that we get some kind of catharsis like that in Resident Evil 8. That's a good staple of the franchise, that empowerment stuff, but I have a feeling it's going to be a long while before we get comfortable or used to the guys in the village. Okay. Yeah, the village people, not the band, but the RE8 village people. On that note, talking about the village itself, so Capcom says it is a living, breathing village. It's more than just a mysterious backdrop for the horrifying events that unfold in the game. The village is a character in its own right, with mysteries for Ethan to uncover and terrors to escape from. Very much another aspect of Resident Evil that I really like is that it feels like an escape room, and I haven't had the fun opportunity to be in an escape room, but Resident Evil fulfills that need for me. How do you find your way out of a place that you need to escape from? You have to find all the tools that you need to basically arm yourself and open doors to escape. That's sort of the gist of actually Resident Evil since Resident Evil 1. How do you escape from this nightmare? Okay, so Mario says, what is your favorite non-weapon item in any RE games? That's a great question for the stream. Anyone who wants to answer that, go ahead and put a comment there on Facebook. I feel like, oh, hey, Kite. By the way, I just saw your message. Thanks for coming by to say hi. I appreciate that, yeah. My favorite non-weapon item, I'm sure I'll get a lot of fans for saying herbs, because herbs, man. No, I'm just kidding. No way. My favorite non-weapon item, I guess, would have to be first aid spray. But more, let's see, let's think a little bit deeper about that. I'd say the keys in RE2 Remake. RE2 remake took place in a police station you had to escape from, and each door had a special key, and somehow those keys are so iconic. They're based off of the suits of cards, you know, playing cards. So that is something that I remember when I think of a Resident Evil item. It just sticks out in my mind as something that is uniquely Resident Evil, is what I mean. Okay, so then for the next part, we are very excited to bring to you this showcase for Resident Evil 8. It's actually quite new. This is something that was premiered to the world just a few hours ago. And so we're all experiencing together what Capcom is planning for us, or at least what they're willing to show us at this point, until Resident Evil 8 comes out this spring. So thanks again to Capcom. If any of you are watching me, thanks for including RGB Worlds with your co-stream program. It is super cool that you gave us the image assets and everything that we needed to get this going, and help, you know, build the excitement for this game, because I'm really excited about RE8. I think that the game's enemies, at least from my understanding of who and what they are so far, there's there's certain things that I really appreciated about it. I think there's going to be a lot of folklore type influences on this game, and it gives that extra bit of class and culture to Resident Evil that we always knew was there. Resident Evil, if ever you played them, a lot of the story happens in the documents and files and the creepy stories that you can find just reading the documents. When a village is full of things that are unexplainable to normal people, I'm sure that the folklore and the documents and random scraps of paper and things that you might find around the village may be that much more interesting for it. I'd say, like how my favorite non-weapon item is like a key, my favorite part of Resident Evil is learning how to escape from things. So I'm sure that as we're going around the village, we're going to be finding a lot of things that we might find useful to help us get out of tight places and tight situations, for sure. All right, guys, so thanks so much for dropping by, Barbie, Marielle, Kite, and Yvette. If you guys have anything to share, let me know. We got about 12 minutes before the showcase begins, and I'll be just interjecting some comments in between the presenters here. I'm very excited to see what they have for us. For myself and my plans for the future with Resident Evil, I'm thinking of actually doing RE1 and RE0, maybe after our Let's Play with Naruto. And things are over. We're gonna focus into RE if they're free, you know, and we'll be very excited to see what's there. Resident Evil, in terms of characters, there's a lot of stylish characters in there, and after you've survived an apocalypse or two, you start to feel very confident in yourself, and you as a player can share in that confidence, and that's what I really like about Resident Evil. Some of my favorite characters so far, well, there is a character named Ada Wong. She's very self-sufficient. I like her. And actually, there are certain characters in the spin-off games like Revelations that are pretty fun to be a fan of too. But when we go into RE8, we'll be seeing the the epitome of the RE protagonists, as in we'll be seeing Chris again, who's there since RE1. If you guys want to see any specific RE games on here, let me know, and I will make time to do that. I have a I'd say if you want to follow up on the adventures of Chris so far, and you do have some time to play through some Resident Evil games, try RE1 and Resident Evil Revelations 1, and you'll see what Chris has been up to. Oh yeah, and of course RE5, he is one of the deuteragonists for that, for sure. Mario asks, do I consider the movies canon? Great question. Yeah, for sure, the CG movies, those are really great movies. If you haven't seen them yet, go ahead and check them out. It's like Resident Evil, Damnation, and Degeneration. That set, there's 3 so far that are really cool, and they are definitely canon for me. Hey John, thanks for liking our stream, man. So yeah, we are very excited about RE8, and we're about to see what Capcom is going to showcase for us in about 10 minutes here. As far as the Alice movies, well, I enjoyed them a lot. I think they're more of a side story because after certain movies in that series, the core characters that were inspired from the games, like Jill Valentine and them, they are absent. So it's kind of hard for me to say that they're canon because I don't know where they are. But I say that they're enjoyable. I like them for what they are. If you want a very authentic movie experience for Resident Evil, you can look at the CG movies that I was discussing, and also there are certain films and TV series that are coming out on Netflix of all places for Resident Evil. So Leon Kennedy is making a comeback into the the movies of Resident Evil, and check that out because if I had Netflix, I would definitely be on it the moment it comes out. In terms of the movies, you can see that they do have influence on the games, though. On Resident Evil 6 and Resident Evil 5 even. Oh, and maybe 4. Yeah, even 4. There's references to a specific scene, how do we say, from Resident Evil 1. The laser corridor. So you could definitely see that there were influences back and forth between the movies and the games as they were coming out, and it's great because we get to experience all these set pieces and fun bits of interaction and put yourself in the same kind of situations that they were in the movie. So that's what I have to say about that. Thanks for asking. If they made Alice into a DLC character for one of the multiplayer games, I think that would be fun. I think it'd be funny. You get some very passionate fans one way or another, but as long as there's content, it's a lot of fun. The thing about Capcom, they're very good at making games that have like infinite replayability. You can always play through your Resident Evils again to see if you make a better time, if you survive the situations in a better way. And there's lots of unlockables. That's the one thing you can count on for Capcom. And they have a very, how do you say, they know how to please their fans in terms of the unlockables. It's a lot of fun. The last time that they had a multiplayer experience, they were doing Resident Evil Resistance, and that was actually a lot of fun too. That's on PS4 and Steam. That is like an Outbreak-esque type of game where you do have PvE. You're going to be basically 4 characters trying to make your way out together, but when we go into RE8, it looks like we're all alone. So as again as Capcom has given to us so far as we know, this next single player experience is going to be a campaign focusing on Ethan and survival. So when you are alone, it's very demanding. It's something that you have to really focus on surviving at because no one's coming to help you is what I mean. So yeah, let's see if we can survive this. It's going to be a lot easier though if I stream it and I feel like you guys are there, because that makes me feel a little less alone. So I'm more likely to play through Resident Evil games if you guys are here to watch that. So I appreciate that. If you guys are excited about Resident Evil Village, go ahead and search under the hashtags #REVillage and #ReShowcase for more information. And in the descriptions on our Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook streams, you can find more links to information and the social handles of Capcom and Resident Evil in particular. So we do appreciate you checking that out. And that's what I think I got for now on that end. In case you guys hadn't known or hadn't found out yet, it's the 25th anniversary of Resident Evil, and so right now there are sales for Resident Evil games, including on the Switch even. They have Resident Evil 0 to 6 and the Revelations games on Switch. So if you play, Switch, you got that there. Of course, Resident Evil has its home on Sony consoles also, and you can check out the sales on there and Steam. So if you guys are playing off PC, you can go ahead and play through there. If you guys want to do any multiplayer games with me, we could check out Raccoon City or something like that. That could be fun. I really do appreciate surviving together. It's nothing like, there's nothing like bringing people together like having to survive together, so survive an apocalypse like that together. So do appreciate that. Oh, and guys, if you do want to check out some previous streams that I've done so far for the Resident Evil series, go ahead and check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/RGBworlds. I did a playthrough for Resident Evil 3 Remake. I do have Resident Evil 2 Remake, and I really find it's like a perfect game. It took me about 20 hours to play through, so if you want to see that, let me know, and I'll play through it again. But it is scary. That's all I gotta say about that. Okay, so we're coming up on like 4.5 minutes to the showcase. What is on this logo, by the way? It's something kind of unique, huh? Take a look at that, and I'll be right back. Let me grab some water, and I'll be right back with you in about 4 minutes. All right, guys, quick break. You guys, thanks for hanging out. Oh yeah, so let me go ahead and reiterate the stream giveaway rules. If you do have a PS4 or PS5, just be the first of 8 to direct message your PSN ID to us, so we know that you got a PS4 or PS5. And then go ahead and comment, like, share the stream whenever you see it. So I do appreciate that. Shout out to the guys that are in Philippines right now. I hope you're having a wonderful Saturday. And for the guys on USA and this side of the world, I hope you're having a good Friday evening. It's nothing like playing video games on the weekends, that's for sure. Way to de-stress. Although, if you're playing Resident Evil, that's kind of questionable sometimes, because you feel a lot more stressed sometimes than if you hadn't picked it up. But it's a good kind of stress, that's for sure. If ever you play Resident Evil, know that probably RE4 is the easiest way to get in. It's very action-oriented, and when you're feeling braver and braver, then you can go ahead and explore some of the other games in the series, that's for sure. RE5, you can do co-op, but again, we don't get that, at least as far as we know, that ability to rely on someone else to help you in RE8, and that makes the survival horror aspect of it all much better for that. So looking forward to that. Very creepy stuff. As far as Ethan, things to know about Ethan and Mia, they seem to be central characters here in RE8 also. We first met them in RE7, and you might be wondering, what is the connection with RE7 with the larger series? There are little hints here and there, but the overall theme about there being, let's say, unscrupulous corporations experimenting on people for profit, that's sort of the backdrop through the whole experience. So it's not just that these bad things happen to these people. It's usually because there's a villain behind it. So that's the thing to find out. And I wonder if ever we can get some kind of revenge on those people. You'll have to find out who they are first, though. So part of the mystery that feeds into RE8 is what is going on with the villains in this particular game, and what are we going to do about it. So we'll find out what showcased by Capcom in about a minute, and we'll just hold on, try to ponder these mysteries until the game comes out later this spring. Okay? All right, so we're about to begin. This logo, I was asking you guys about it. I was wondering what you think it is. To me, it kind of looks like some crow feathers with mandragora root in the middle. It looks kind of witchcrafty. I wouldn't be surprised if I see this like hanging on some trees out there in the village. Very creepy stuff. Witchcraft things. I think that's like Mario's boat, actually. How did Mia get her job in the first place? You know, I honestly am not sure. That's a good question too. I'd have to play RE7, probably look into some of the extended universe to find out what's going on. Hang on. Oh. Oh. I think I saw.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us today.
Something crazy.
And welcome to our Resident Evil showcase. I'm your host, Brittany Brombacher, here to give you a closer look into what Capcom has coming up for the Resident Evil franchise. We'll be kicking things off with some brand new content and an exclusive first look at Resident Evil Village gameplay that you do not want to miss. So without further ado, let's get started.
It's a world premiere. Very exciting. Those enemies. Oh.
Think positively, all right? We talked about
this. Is Mia, guys.
I know. We hardly talk about anything else.
Belle's always foreboding.
Mother Miranda, I regret to inform you that Ethan Winters has escaped that fool Heisenberg. Because he is in my castle and has already proven too much for my daughters to handle. When I find him... No, Mother Miranda. Yes, of course, I understand the importance of the ceremony. I won't let you down.
Who's that? Wow.
Can someone please tell me what the hell is going on here?
No. The place is full of nothing but blood and death.
Oh, torture chambers.
Well, Ethan Winters. There you are.
Wow, so it looks like there's a castle setting also, and we're being held captive by some really tall ladies.
Let's see what you're really made of, Ethan Winters.
Van Helsing? Question? That looked supernatural, didn't it, guys? That's freaky.
That was amazing, but I still have so many questions.
Same.
Like, when can I pre-order this thing? Perhaps producer Pete Fabiano has some answers for us. Let's see what he has to say.
Hey everyone, I'm Pete Fabiano, producer on Resident Evil Village. When we first announced Resident Evil Village back in June, we only mentioned PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and PC. I'm happy to announce we've been working hard to bring the survival horror experience onto current generation consoles as well. Resident Evil Village will also be coming to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, day and date with.
That's good for good news for me because I got a PS4 already.
For free to the digital PS5 version, and the Xbox One version gives you free access to the game on Xbox Series.
So if you get a PS5 eventually, you can just upgrade for free.
To tell you exactly when you can get your hands on the game. Resident Evil Village will be available worldwide on May 7th, 2021, with pre-orders kicking off today.
Oh, summer 2021. Hey, that's great. A lot of us will have a lot of free time to play it for sure.
First, we have the Digital Deluxe Edition, available on all platforms. Players will be able to heighten their survival horror experience with extra content, including in-game items that call back to Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. There's also a collector's edition for consoles
That's cool.
that includes all the deluxe edition content, as well as a striking figure of Chris
I like
Redfield,
that poster
a steelbook
and
case,
box.
poster, and art book. And for those of you who haven't played the previous entry, we have the Resident Evil Village and Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
No excuse now. I have to live through that nightmare now.
The award-winning RE7 while you wait for Resident
Mario
Evil.
says May
Pre-order
7th.
any of
That's
these
your
editions,
birthday.
and you'll be able to
That's
get your
a
hands
sign.
on both the Mr. Raccoon weapon accessory
Time to get it
and
then.
the Survival Resource Pack, which will offer additional support during the first few hours of gameplay. Finally, digital pre-orders from the PlayStation Store will receive
Nice.
an exclusive Resident
Soundtrack
Evil
for
Village
you-
mini soundtrack.
For your home to feel as comfortable,
All right,
as
I've been
scary
waiting
as
for
this game
I know
is.
you've been waiting for this. It's time for the world premiere first look at Resident Evil Village gameplay. Alongside this first look, we have Pete Fabiano back to offer some insights as well. Let's take a look.
Wow. You know, never mind. Let me save my comments for
Now we're here
after.
to give you an exclusive first look at Resident Evil Village gameplay. Just like in Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, you'll be taking control of Ethan Winters. You'll make your way from the village to the castle. Players will need to get in and search for their kidnapped daughter. As you've noticed by now, Resident Evil Village keeps the first-person perspective. We think it really draws players into the detailed world we've created.
Wow. It's so lavish looking. You know, when it's
You'll see a lot
quiet,
of those little details come to life here.
makes you wonder if something's gonna jump at you. Wow.
The team put a ton of effort into creating a truly authentic feel. From art design to technology, everything ties in great and creates some beautiful visuals. Now it's time to meet some of the castle denizens.
Vampires.
As you'd expect, a warm welcome's not really what's in store for Ethan.
Man blood.
Now, let's take a look at him. Well, well, Ethan Winters. You escaped my little brother's idiot games, did you? Let's see how special you are.
You know, Dracula had some vampire mistresses in his castle, but I think
Figures
they
that
own this
we're
castle.
finally gonna show off some combat.
Oh, it's so dark. Yeah.
It's not just about shooting. Guarding will also be an important part of the game.
If these guys are like zombies, they look very unpredictable. Their staggering is...
Each type of enemy
Different.
has their own distinct way of fighting, so you'll need to change up your strategy to defeat them.
Is that like El Gigante Part 2? Haven't seen the likes of
Everyone
you
knows
since
what to do with
RE4.
red barrels, right?
Yes.
Some of you will remember a similar management system in Resident Evil 4.
Lots of space.
This time around, we've added crafting,
Wait,
which allows you to
that
create
means
items such as first aid and ammo.
Lots of problems then too. Lots of challenges to overcome if you have that much space.
There's also an assortment of weapons to find and utilize throughout the game.
I've been waiting for you, Mr. Winters.
How do you know my name?
Anyone who is anyone has heard of the likes of you.
The merchant makes a return. This time he's known as the Duke. You'll be going to him to buy and sell weapons, amongst other things.
Merchant returns?
The director wanted
Is
to
he
give him
the
a
same
unique
guy in
look, and
RE4?
You'll often find him in different situations.
Same purpose.
Each time you encounter him.
No, it's the same guy. What the?
He's an interesting fella.
Aha!
I bet it's like Onimusha. He shows up in some pretty strange places, I bet.
Trusty knife. There's plenty of items to find in your travels.
Whoa. That's not water.
Do you hear that? And we've also got extra objectives outside of the main ones.
Oh.
Of course, it goes without saying that there'll be plenty of puzzles to solve for players to move forward. Oh, and plenty of surprises to keep you on your toes.
Huh? Yeah.
I haven't cut open a man in a while. Let me string you up, slice your jugular, and just watch.
Well, that's one way to end the video. Now that we've shown you what's in store for Resident Evil Village, let's take a look at the exclusive PlayStation 5 demo. For this demo, players won't be playing as Ethan, but as a character we're referring to as the Maiden. Unlike the actual game, this experience doesn't feature combat or even blocking.
Looks like you could still get hurt though. Saw that red screen of pain.
We're hoping to have players get a real feel for the visuals and audio as they take the Maiden on her journey to find a way out of the castle. And you can download the exclusive demo on PlayStation 5 today. Of course, we want as many people as possible to get a chance to play. So we'll have a separate new demo available on all platforms, ready for sometime this spring.
This year marks the 25th anniversary of the Resident Evil franchise, with the very first game releasing in Japan back on March 22nd, 1996. Since then, the series has expanded well beyond the realm of video games. From toys and board games, to CG movies, to live-action Hollywood films, Resident Evil has become a cultural icon. Resident Evil continues to offer surprises around every corner, so let's pass it along to producer Tsuyoshi Kanda to hear more about what you can expect in 2021.
Earlier this month, we started inviting players to join a closed beta test. The test won't happen until later next week, but I want to use this chance to reveal more details. With the 25th anniversary of Resident Evil coming on March 22nd, we are excited to celebrate this milestone with our fans. Last September, we showed off a piece of key art showcasing some of Resident Evil's iconic characters to start the celebration. Now, I'm happy to announce what was behind that. Let's take a look.
What's this? Oh. What? Versus game.
REVillage is one of the ways we're celebrating the
Amazing.
25th anniversary of the franchise, showcasing so many of the characters that fans love. It'll be available for free to anyone who purchases Resident Evil Village, so be sure to follow the Resident Evil social channels for the latest news. And check out the official website for even more details.
On behalf of Massive Entertainment and Ubisoft, congratulations to the Resident
surprise
Evil
announcement
team on
there
their
too.
25th anniversary. We can't wait to get our hands on our reverse. For the occasion, we are bringing a celebration to our game, Tom Clancy's The Division 2. For a limited time, you will be able to collect some of the iconic outfits and items from the original Resident Evil trilogy. Everyone that logs in during the event will get Leon Kennedy's Raccoon Police Department outfit as a warm-up. Now let's have a look at some of these.
Hey, that's cool. Ubisoft's cool too. Lux got it under control. あ、
皆様こんにちは。バイオハザードの映像作品にてプロデューサーを務めていますカプコンの小林博之です。昨年発表しましたフル 3DCG アニメーションバイオハザードインフィニットダークネス
guys, definitely watch this, okay? Very excited about this.
レオンとクレアが活躍する物語となっております。時間軸はバイオハザード4の後の、数年後のお話となっておりまして、レオンがスーツ姿でとある場所でゾンビ事件に巻き込まれます。この作品はですね、Netflix にて全世界、配信になりますので皆さんお楽しみください。
Wow, a lot's been happening, and I hope you enjoyed watching. But if you missed anything along the way, don't worry. Keep an eye on the Resident Evil social channels and official website, which will be sharing everything from today's show. As a quick reminder, Resident Evil Village is available for pre-order starting today for the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, and Steam for PC. And don't forget, PlayStation 5 owners get a sneak peek through downloadable content available worldwide starting today. It has been an absolute honor to celebrate the amazing Resident Evil leading up to its 25th anniversary with all of you across the globe. I'm your host, Brittany Brombacher, and thank you so much for watching. Until next time.
Alright, what a great show, guys. So it looks like they not only surprised us with some more footage from Resident Evil 8, but they also made references to their collabs with Ubisoft and Division 2. Announced another game, Resident Evil Verse, which looks like a possibly massive multiplayer PvP. And also referred to their series on Netflix that's coming out, Infinite Darkness. So that's very exciting. So guys, if you want to get in on Resident Evil 8, go ahead and look at the links that are there. You're able to go ahead and pre-order for all these consoles mentioned already, and for PC if you do Steam. So that's very exciting. If you haven't joined Steam yet, you can download an account for free, or download the player and make an account for free, so you can get started at any time if you have the PC for it. So I'm very excited about this, and I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up pretty quick here. Let me go ahead and wrap up some stuff in the comment section also. So yeah, Mariel, we were discussing that logo. It looks like Mariel sees a fetus in the middle of the logo. That's great. Doesn't make it any less creepy. But I wonder if that ties into anything about Ethan's daughter, the whole children theme, saving your child theme, that seems to be the backbone of the story this time around. Maybe it has some kind of reference with regard to that. So that's super cool. If you guys have any thoughts on Resident Evil, especially Resident Evil 8 and the games that have been announced today, go ahead and drop that in the comments. We really appreciate that you've joined us today. I'm very excited to have seen what I've seen. It looks like, for those of you that are crying out for a remake of RE1, we get something like that here, in the sense that we're in a very luxurious looking mansion of sorts. It is a castle, and to see it in a photorealistic style, that's terrifying. So I appreciate that. Capcom, thanks for making this game and getting us excited about it. And for guys, if you want to see any future streams, where I might be streaming Resident Evil games also pretty soon, go ahead and follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We are RGB Worlds. You can also find us under Rubbly Gaming and Blog, and you know, hang out with us. It makes things a little bit less scary, and it makes it a lot more fun when you guys are there too. So thanks for stopping by today, and I hope you have a great weekend. Take care. All right.